Alright everybody, welcome back to TorCraft Cup Online, Stage 4. We're going to be getting into our losers finals now. It is the run back from the winner's bracket, Believe versus SteAdfaSt at PvZ, and we're going to start out on Iron Fortress.
Yep, best of 3 to finish things out. These two guys are already in the top 3 of this event. It's already been decided, but who will take that number 1, 2, and 3 position? That is what we are here to decide, and of course we're kicking off, as was already mentioned, on Iron Fortress.
We're going to be spawning on our top left player, our green Protoss. He is representing Team Extreme Supremacy. It is Believe.
And in the farthest possible spot away, the Long Dark, this is the Red Zerg SteAdfaSt, representing Gear in the rear.
And so PvZ on this map is a bit interesting. The chokes are, like, they're not really chokes, they're just pathways that are gigantic and open. And taking a third base as a Protoss is kind of difficult. You've got 2 entry points, and it's very far away from your natural, I'd have to say.
There's all sorts of interesting, or potentially, it always depends on your perspective. They're either like interesting things where, as you mentioned, the third does have multiple paths, and some of those paths can be blocked off by, say, like a cooling tower or something like that. So you can kind of seal some of the attack paths open, but like you mentioned, it's very open, and it's oftentimes a 2-base sort of map. And Believe. Rip. Yep. Very nice banter coming out from both of these guys.
Yep, calling Jake easy. For those who don't know, Believe and No Regret, they have a long-standing rivalry and a lot of interesting comments going between the two of them. So, right now, SteAdfaSt throwing down his expansion for 4 pool.
Looks like it was, what was that, like 15 hatch coming out from SteAdfaSt. It's just going to be like the 13, 14 gate, whatever it was. Very standard timing for Believe. And the more interesting point is, of course, the chat between these two guys. Believe, is this going to be one of those situations where he's just trying to throw his opponent off? On the other hand, there's our extra hatch coming down.
Yep,
Yum. 3 hatch before pool.
It worked the first time. No real reason to go for it a second time. And, you know, SteAdfaSt did mention that 2 + 1 = 3, and wonder, maybe if Believe's going to try taking a hint from that. Did put out the hashtag mind games, so who knows?
I mean, Nexus on 21, again, pretty darn standard. He did decide to go for the Cyber Core before that Nexus. Some guys like to go for the Nexus first, get it somewhere around 18 or 19, and then delay their Cyber Core. In this particular case, the Mothership Core is going to be out that much more quickly, going to be building up that energy for either recall if he wants to step out on the map and do something aggressive, or more likely that Photon Overcharge, the defensive option for the kind of early to mid-game stage of this match.
Yeah, right now, looks like SteAdfaSt is going to be gearing up to saturate his expansions for now. The probe is going to be heading across, but I wonder, is it actually going to head up the third base? And it's kind of like Colosseum and Brood War, where there's 2 choices for where the third base could be. You really have to figure out, or where is it?
Believe had better check over by the other one. Oh no, actually, is he going to proxy something? His probe is head out past the potential third base location of SteAdfaSt, and he's just kind of hanging out. 3 gates on the way. That is going to be rounding him out to that 4-gate number. A sentry is also being produced. Is he looking for a big 4-gate all-in?
I think so. And a little surprised where the pylon placement was. He probably should have put it on the linear cliff, as that way he could warp right into the base across the gap. But for right now, he's got the Mothership going across, he's got Zealots, and 2 Zerglings. We'll see the... Oh, why is your Mothership Core out this far? Your Mothership Core is not supposed to be out on the map, it's supposed to be at home defending. And, well, so he's going to find out why.
Very soon, indeed, he will find out exactly why that is. Another proxy pylon going to be getting dropped down back home. The sentry does not get the wall off, although one of the Lings will be eliminated quite nicely and quickly. But the second Zergling is going to run into the main base. He's going to be able to count the gateways, and he's going to be like, okay, I know exactly what's going on, but I did go 3 hatch before pool. The Roachborn is just now starting.
Yep, he's got to get as many Zerglings out as possible. That is his only real hope here, and it looks like it's going to be a 4 gates with Zealots primarily. Not too much on the gas investment. This is also a 2 base 4 gate, so Warpins will be constantly coming at you. 20 Zerglings on the way, but this is a lot of Zealots this early on.
This is a very healthy number of Zealots, and enough to where a fair number can be split off to attack a different target while still keeping 4 or 5 back, along with that Mothership Core to deal with the bigger body of the Lings. In this case, there's the surround on one of the Zealots. Can these Lings actually clean up a healthy number of these Zealots? The answer so far is no, as more and more reinforcements pouring in here, starting to target down the hatch, starting to target down the Queen, and those additional defensive options that the Zerg has.
Yep, and right now it looks like these Zealots, they're so far have actually pushed the Zerglings across. No regret, or not no regret. SteAdfaSt is going to be sending all of his Zerglings across the map, hoping to go for a base trade, but their wall is closed back at Believe's base, and the third base, it's taking a lot of damage to these roaches. Sure, you can kite Zealots, but there are so many Zealots out right now, up to 14.
With this many Zealots, as you mentioned, yes, you can kite them, but every single swipe from the Zealot is doing so much damage. Actually, no, never mind. There's the recall, complete departure. He's like, all right, I sniped my base, or I sniped your base, rather. I don't need to kill you right this moment. That has given me the edge to continue on with this game.
Indeed so, and you know, SteAdfaSt did get rid of one of the pylons, but there's actually still that other one that has not been scouted. And I'm wondering, will SteAdfaSt find it? Don't think so for a while, but... Or actually, no, he's got one going across, but he'll pass right by it.
Hey, doesn't actually grab vision of it, unfortunately. It's one of those kind of dark spots he hasn't quite scouted just yet. Should probably send a Zergling over there momentarily. +1/+1 on the way, but as you mentioned, we have that kind of next stage of the game for Believe. He is up on workers, and he has been for a little while, considering the large number of units that had to be produced for the defense by SteAdfaSt, but also the Immortal production, just constantly churning them out.
Yep. And right now, it looks like the destructible debris at the third base for SteAdfaSt is looking to get rid of. As you know, as a Zerg player, especially when you're going for the Lings, when you're going for the Roaches, you need as much surface area as possible to get a nice concave and get surrounds.
4 more gates being added on, a total of 8 will be the number. One Overseer going to be getting eliminated. A couple more Overlords are on the way, as well as the Hydra Den. So can he deal with the impending attack? It's going to be 8 gateways worth of Warpins, but also the Sentries and the Immortal.
Yep. Right now, this looks like it's going to be the only Immortal, as the Robotics Bay is on the way. I guess he's going to be keeping a lot of his gas for the Colossi. One Zergling will actually see... Oh, never mind. There's 2 Immortals. And the Zergling will see the entire army moving out. So, right now, with just Zerglings and a handful of Roaches, I'm not sure if it'll be enough. He needs to get a huge surround. Luckily, Iron Fortress has a lot of open space. If you can get a flank, you should be primed to deal with it. But there are 6 sentries with a lot of force fields available.
The onus is on Believe to take the engagements in smart positions. It looks like 1 Stalker, or no, 3 Stalkers will be getting caught out of position while the rest of the army is engaging over here. There's the force fields going down. They're all right, but there is still a healthy number of Roach, Hydra, Queen on the defense.
You know what I would like to see is possibly a couple hallucinations just to provide extra targets for SteAdfaSt to get scared about and have trouble dealing with. And those Zerglings actually still behind the main army of Believe need to find a good position to get into, so that way you can like surround the Protoss army and deal with it.
Potentially we'll see some force fields be used up, but if SteAdfaSt is looking to engage in these more choky areas near the middle, then those force fields are going to be that much more powerful. If he's able to burn a lot of force fields out in the open, that could be his key to really shutting down this push. However, for now, the push does continue. Believe is looking for those opportunities to step in and take a fight.
Indeed it is. Right now we've got Thermalance on the way, Colossi on the way as well, so I guess Believe he's going to pull back for now, get the bulk of his AoE ready. As against the Hydras, Immortals are great, but they just can't do it against Hydralisks. You need that area of effect to sweep across and take out their DPS as quickly as possible.
Ling's moving out once again on the map, just trying to find those opportunities. And now that SteAdfaSt has been on that 3 base for quite a while, he's been saturated. He's actually going to be looking to throw down a macro hatch over by his 3rd base, so he's going to have additional production there for the defense, but also the Spire. That kind of the next stage, you could call it, for him. He's going to be looking to eventually transition into some sort of flying-based army comp.
Yeah, but right now we've got a couple roaches on the way, and actually +2 melee and +1 missile attacks. I'm not sure this is what you want. There are no Carapace upgrades for our Zerg player, or actually there's +1 Carapace, but that's about it, and the engagement is going to come in. You've got Hydralisks on either side, Zerglings from the back, but Great Force Field is going to prevent a lot of them from coming in. Time Warp's going down, Moisture Core will go down, but it's out of energy anyways, and just so many Force Fields all across the board, and SteAdfaSt army is reduced to rubble.
It's absolutely being shredded, and somehow even the Mothership Core surviving. GG gets called. Believe crashes and thrashes through that army, slicing it to bits, and just on the step of his opponent's 3rd, and at the very least, he was going to lose a huge number of drones, lose both of those hatcheries, and of course, that's where he was just like, well, this game is done. SteAdfaSt. Was he showing? Is he going to end up showing that Believe is actually the better player? Maybe that earlier win was a bit of a fluke.
Maybe, but Iron Fortress, it's a bit of a less standard map. You never know with it, but we'll have to see how this works into map number 2. And I'm wondering, is SteAdfaSt doing the same sort of things we saw in previous? And maybe we see that Zergling Ultralisk Infestor comp come out again. That worked very well. Especially, if we go to Vonnie Research Station, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that.